Today I'm reading a short story by Conni Guido. She is also a marketer. She's wildly talented and is responsible for writing this book that I'm really enjoying. It is a short story, and it is called You're Such a Doll by Conni Guido. Part 1. In the auction house, I sit on a cold wooden stool with several hot lamps over me. Paintings and statues lay behind me, waiting for their turn. I am a doll among pieces of art, and feel pretty and valuable until I catch the gaze of another. A woman sits amid the small crowd, her dark hair hidden beneath a kerchief and large sunglasses that almost consume her weathered face. There is something unsettling about the way she raises the auction marker with each price point, prepared to fight whoever raises their marker against her. She smirks, enjoying this, and her smirk progressively creeps into a grin as the auctioneer hits a price that no one seems to contest. His voice booms. 4,000 going once. No one else challenges her. 4,000 going twice. The excitement of solidifying this deal climbs. Her smile is devilishly mischievous. Dread washes over me, as I'm certain I've seen that smile before. 4,000! Sold to the woman in black! My stuffing aches as her smile stretches as far as it'll reach. Long and thin fingers pluck the plastic frames from her face. My mind is faster than my body, screaming to run, to flee. But I can't. Frozen to my place on the auction stool, I meet the wild gaze of the one person I needed to escape from. Wisteria Place in the spring looks like one of Mother's strawberry pastries. Fluffy, frothy, and pink. Much like you would picture the interior of a dollhouse to resemble. From the velvet carpet to the lace that drapes over the shelves, housing a series of porcelain dolls. The sun briefly pokes into the shop on this Tuesday morning with the opening of the door. Its bell tinkles gently, one that's loud enough to reach the back room. A woman adorned in jean overalls wanders inside, head peeking around in curiosity. Pale faces, dark faces, medium complexions stare back at her with their expressive eyes and sad looks. Most, if not all of them, are sad. Her sneakers melt into the dark pink velvet carpet as her sapphire eyes attempt to process all of us in. Yes, we're overwhelmingly beautiful with our abundance of curls, sun hats, and elaborate gowns. Yes, we're overwhelmingly fragile with that one wrong move might fracture us. The young woman slows her steps, hands clasped behind her back, as if assuring she'll fight the temptation to pick one of us up. She's so close I can almost detect the refreshing scent of body mist? Cucumber. So many of them carry the scent of cucumber. That or vanilla. "Can I help you?" From the back room, a voice calls, parting the curtains that clink as they fold back with the owner's presence. Peggy Lovett, a woman in her mid-50s. Gray spirals through her curls. Long locks pulled back into a neat ponytail. Lips painted ruby. Mascara applied with a perfect line of cat-eye eyeliner to accent her chestnut browns. A picture of refinery in her black dress, sheer cape draping over her shoulders to fight the fixed chill in the room. She carries her slim frame toward the register's counter, leaving a space between her and her newest customer. Her hands clasped together in her lap. A gaudy red bauble ring rests on the ring finger of her right hand. The young woman stops at my shelf. "That's a new arrival," Peggy says, pointing to me. "Been searching for her for a while. Got away once before. Found her at an auction." She seems only mildly disappointed, inhaling deeply before exhaling with a shrug of her shoulders. "Her name is Marilyn. Beautiful, isn't she? I just love her dark curls and rich brown eyes." The young woman politely curls her lips and grants me her profile. She is. They all are. I'm actually looking for one for my niece. She's turning 5 next week, and my friend wants to give her her first doll. I was thinking that I could get her a doll friend. All dolls need friends. Up close, she's natural. Her pores require care. Her hair is dry and a mousy brown. The type of hair she can't do anything with. Pinned straight, dead at the ends, and desperate for help. Her eyelashes are lovely, thick, an accent to those pretty blue eyes that are directed at Peggy. Certainly they do, Peggy agrees with a laugh that's rich and warm. I'm afraid dolls on that side are part of my special collection. What is your niece like? Perhaps there's a doll who looks like her. Many young girls like to see themselves in their dolls. I'm Peggy, by the way. Peggy Lovett. The young woman smiles. Annette Sims. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Lovett. Peggy expands her arms to gesture at the expanse of the room. Welcome to my dollhouse. Annette steps away from my shelf to move towards Peggy. I wish she would have stayed a little longer. Your shop is lovely. I love how quaint it is. And the wisteria over the cottage front gives it that little extra. It really does look like something out of a fairy tale. Peggy shifts her hand from her stretch to hover over the small of Annette's back. Thank you. I did it for my daughter. Perhaps you'd like to take one home as well. Everyone needs a friend. The new customer blinks. What makes you think I'm lonely? Oh, we're all lonely, dear. Some hide it better than others. Peggy offers her a small smile over her shoulder, picking up a doll with a full head of blonde curls. Carefully, she supports her by the bottom, presenting her before Annette. Sad, lifeless green eyes stare back at her. The lace of her powder blue dress falls in their delicate layers around Peggy's palm. This is Clarissa, the great niece of a contessa. Perhaps your niece will like her. Annette chews on her response. Wendy might like one of the others. Peggy raises her brows, her lips curling into a forced smile. I'm afraid those dolls aren't for sale. Display only. Annette appears as if she's willing to fight for what she wants until she doesn't. Her opened mouth closes, lowering her hand before returning to browse the dolls available for purchase. She has no strength to argue. I feel sorry for her, more so now that Peggy introduces her to the Dowager Princess, Wilhelmina, then the millionaire Duchess, Florentine. Each represents a woman of status, and each of them Annette turns down. I can tell this further tries Peggy's patience as she lowers her last offer, the Lady Angelica of Prussia, back down on the doily-draped shelf. Dear, I sense something bothers you more. Peggy gently probes. I tense on my shelf. Something in her voice unsettles me. A nervous laugh leaves her new customer. It's just... She catches herself. I just wonder if... If? Peggy pries. Annette finally puts together, not every little girl grows up to be a princess or a woman of influence. I can't help but think this concept sends the wrong message, you know? Yeah, okay, raise them young. That's what my friend says. But Wendy needs to know it's also okay if she doesn't become that. She looks back around the room, stopping in my direction. I'm not a dream killer for a little girl. Peggy's features soften. Her earlier irritation and tense shoulders long forgotten. You're protecting. You're right. Not every little girl gets to grow up to become a princess. A low exhale leaves her. Let's take a break and sit for tea. I've just put a pot on. It should be ready. Guiding Annette again, the pair of women coast towards a table intended for young girls who want to live out the ultimate fantasy of finding her new best friend. Part of that is hosting a tea party. It's a process, and begging the great debate of, do you choose the doll or does the doll choose you? Annette takes a seat on the plush white chair, standing out against the majesty of the store. Peggy disappears behind a curtain, only to return with a petal-pink teapot and an array of delicate china teacups in a gradient from white to pale pink. Beside the teapot is a small canister with a teaspoon sticking from its spout. Wait, I've seen that before. There we are, Peggy coos, setting the tray down delicately before serving and pouring the dark brew. Here, some imported sugar from France. I thought my clientele would get a riot out of its special pink color. Makes all the difference. Otherwise, the tea itself is awfully bitter. She doles out the sugar, its crystals catching the sunlight. So tell me, dear, what troubles you? Why so cynical? Annette bites through the promised bitterness of the tea, continuing to nurse at the warm concoction. God, I shouldn't be. She shakes her head. Peggy, I shouldn't be, but my boyfriend left. I'm pretty sure I'm getting fired at work, and all in the same week. Oh, dear. That's a lot. Delicate fingers stir the teaspoon. A lot rides on career women, Annette, Peggy comments, taking an unbothered sip from her cup. The pressure to work, to be beautiful. It sets such a standard. Bobbing her head, Annette indulges in another taste. Boy, you got that right. Internally, my eyes narrow. I wish I could tell Annette to forget about giving her niece's doll a friend and just go. That tea. Sounds like you've had a tough time. A pause. Wait. I have something that might help. Peggy hums and disappears into the back room. She returns in what feels like a matter of seconds. Sometimes, Annette, we need a hard reset on ourselves. Now, I don't offer this to everyone, but I can see you need this. Sprinkle this around your bed with the open window. I want you to wish hard for what it is you want. Apprehensively, Annette swallows. Peggy, I don't know. I'm sure this works on little girls, but... The shop owner's lips continue to curl. Humor me, dear. You might just find that it helps. If anything, give you a good night's sleep. Now, if you want a doll with no title, there's Ethel, an ironworker from World War II, for your niece to admire. Part 2. Peggy dusts the shelves this morning, humming. I can see from my place on the shelf that the sun is due to rise high. Blue skies with not a cloud in sight. Her eyes fall on me the closer she nears. Thought you'd get away, huh? No, my dear. I'm afraid you'll never get away from me. No, her eyes are always on me, aren't they? Peggy Lovett instills a chill in me more than anyone ever has. I'm supposed to be unfeeling, but somehow I am capable of experiencing every emotion. Oh, Marilyn, such a pity. The door's chime signifies a customer and my reprieve. There is a bounce in her hair as waves cascade past her shoulders, full, voluminous, and healthy. Every customer this week has resembled Annette Sims in some manner, much to my chagrin. It's enough that I can't bear Peggy's monstrous smile towards each little girl that enters the store, rubbing that red gaudy bead on her finger idly as she waits for the child to choose. Her interaction with the newcomer doesn't sit right with me. She needs to leave. The new customer glides in with a confidence that she's fitting into. Awkward steps, but nothing her body language can't mask. Devoid of her overalls, she adorns a beige pencil skirt and blazer. Peggy begins speaking, briefly looking at me before addressing her newest guest. Annette Sims. I can hear her smile broadening. I almost didn't recognize you. Annette beams, hopeful for that response as she fluffs her hair and turns. What do you think? I wanted to treat myself after my promotion. I thought you were... she cuts Peggy off. So did I. Peggy, it was so surreal. I left your store and went home that night convinced I would be fired. Like I told you. I followed your instructions, sprinkled the powder, and made a wish, and her eyes lit up. It worked. I could argue that being fired was never a thing to begin with, but a reality she was designing in her own head. Peggy extends her arm to collect Annette in. Darling, that's wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Did your niece like Ethel? Yes, she did. Thank you. Again, Peggy invites Annette to sit down at the table as she goes to fetch more tea. Just as she disappears, Annette finally musters the courage to broach her question. Her fading voice seeks poise as she carefully chews her words. Peggy, I don't know how to ask this. Her eyes find me. I want to comfort her and then usher her out the door. Annette Sims doesn't belong in this doll shop. With the gentle clinking of the items on the tray, Peggy carries the same tea set from the Thursday prior. Ask what, dear? As if she doesn't know. Spare me. Peggy knows all too well what Annette wants. We both do. With her palms pressed together in her lap, Annette smiles sheepishly. I was wondering if you had any more? I know it was a placebo, but I think you were right on that hard reset. Placebos are capable of miraculous things. Think of it as a holistic cure-all. Not meeting her gaze, the shop owner takes care in pouring the tea into teacups. Annette leans forward and takes a sniff. Peaches? A new imported tea, she retorts, pushing the pink sugar towards Annette once more. Let me know if you like it. Imported. I could have sworn I smelled peaches from the bag, too, Annette muses, bringing the cup to her lips. Oh, bitter. It's more fragrant. A half laugh leaves her chest before taking another full mouthful. I cringe on my doily. Perhaps something that lingered from the store. Another quick explanation. If I could, I'd be shaking my head. Peggy leans back in her chair, crossing one leg elegantly over the other, indulging in a languid sip before regarding her want. You know, Annette, confidence is a powerful thing, as is beauty. The more you grow, the more you want. It becomes addictive. Like an addict, Annette swiftly bobs her head in a nod. Anything for the next fix. There's more to this world than just beauty, however, for someone who has never experienced feeling beauty for herself. I see where she would find the appeal. Annette licks her lips, taking another sip. I'd love to feel more confident, she confesses. Something indiscernible flickers in the shopkeeper's eyes. With a familiar grace, my guardian doesn't hide her delight in that statement and stands from the table. You know, Annette, there's nothing more expensive or more gratifying than investing in yourself. The other woman's waves follow her as she shakes her head. I can pay. She clears her throat. I can pay now. I've known women that take their power for granted. They don't appreciate it. Ungrateful. I detect a lowness in her voice as Peggy disappears behind the beaded curtain, returning with a shimmering lavender pouch. Do not take this for granted, my dear. Women have succumbed to lesser things. Annette polishes her cup and fishes in her clutch purse for her wallet. Smoothly, she pops the clasp open to extract bills. I won't, she said. I just want to feel beautiful. Just once. Just once. As a doll, I don't have to earn the love of anyone. If anything, I provide unconditional love to someone that needs it. As a doll, things are simpler, no pressure to perform. Void of the constant stress of perfection, I simply exist, despite knowing there are those in the world we can never make happy. We'll never appease them. They'll always look down on us with a fierce sense of disdain. the piercing gaze of judgment or jealousy, sometimes both. In the darkness, I recall something for the first time in a while. Strange to have such a lucid vision come to me. An argument. Me against a woman whose features I share. Dark curls shaking in a fury with the movement of heads. Accusatory hands, a jutting finger set to stab at my heart, and if she comes closer, I'm certain she will. For now, only the white circular table separates us. "I don't like the way he looks at you," the other woman flails, her voice warbling before her acrylics bite into the paint of the chair. "I don't. He's saying you're coming on to him?" My lips part. I am youthful, vibrant, with color in my cheeks and blood that pumps wildly through me as my heart hammers against my chest. My dark brown eyes widen. I never know when she will lose it altogether. "You can't believe that!" my mother demands. "When will you stop taking from me?" Tears pinprick the corners of her fierce gaze. It's not the first time those words leave her mouth. She believes I've taken life from her own daughter, a threat. Ever since I turned 16, my mother holds me at arm's length. Although I look just like her, I've suddenly become her greatest competition in her hunt for husband number 4. When she sees the illusion of my age tattooed to the center of my forehead, she sneers. For her, it's a constant reminder she'll never be that age again. She is stunning at 44, but age, she fears, is her greatest handicap. Obsessing over creams and lotions, the injections that keep the folds in her face from finding their way along her laugh lines. My mother essentially seeks an ultimate anti-aging formula and pores over books in search of it. Mother met my father while she pursued a career in modeling. A seedy affair with him being married and responsible for a family of 3. Part of me thinks she wanted the attention a scandal like that would bring. The model and the investor. She believed he would leave his family for her when she became pregnant with me. Imagine her surprise when he didn't and left. No one could have expected her to struggle to lose the weight and lose her modeling contract to wrap up the package of loss. "You're such a..." she whispers. I am her enemy. I am preventing her from her happiness. "You..." she swallows. "You're such a..." I sigh. I know. No. I am not her daughter. I am the cause of everything and everyone to walk out on her, and yet I can't leave. She needs to keep me in proximity. Part 4. It's no wonder why dolls look so sad. If others were to listen to our stories, what would they hear? To our credit, we're fantastic secret keepers. Annette Sims bounds into Wisteria Place that Thursday morning, a manicured hand clutching tight to the long strap of her dusty rose purse that matches her blazer and slacks. A step up from the safety of clean beige. My eyes follow her as tendrils of hair frame her face, knotted in a bun. Her face has minimal pores, false eyelashes that resemble Twiggy. I should know. I remember donning that very set of falsies myself. Everyone wants that doll-eyed look. Trust me, it's not all that. Though I suppose Annette Sims, in her experimental phase, is no different. Except her jawline appears thinner. Her complexion glassy. "Peggy," she calls out, "I can't wait to tell you all that's happened." The lilt in her voice would have stopped anyone in their tracks. Such hope and happiness from coming into her own is abundantly clear. With the tinkling of the beaded curtain falling behind her, the shop's owner steps out. Lithe in her charcoal-fitted dress, she smooths her hands over its front. The practiced smile that is plastered on her features falls at the sight of Annette. "Dear, you're so pale. What happened?" Blinking, Annette brings her fingertip to her cheek before turning to face her reflection in the glossy window. Must be this new skincare routine I've been trying. Isn't it magnificent? With furrowed brows, Peggy observes Annette's lingering fascination with her reflection, slow to caress the glassy pale skin of her cheek, before reaching to make sure the front pieces of her hair are still slick and aligned. The shop owner's eyes narrow. Caught in its reflection, Annette stops as she focuses on Peggy's hardened look. Sorry, she apologizes, peeling herself away to collect her friend's hand in hers. Unamused, Peggy's hands slacken, pulling away to motion towards the table. I've set out some pastries. Just made them this morning. Annette considers her friend, gaze shifting to the table to observe the puff pastries on the white cloth along with the usual tea set. You know, she begins, taking steps towards the table. As she sets her bag down, she crosses one leg over the other and places a still warm puff onto her plate. I'm sorry. I've been doing nothing but talking about myself. How are you doing, Peggy? How's business? The older woman fixes the tea, a small smile lifting her features. It almost seems as if she's grateful to be remembered. Little girls come and go. They find their best friends. Their eyes light up. It makes me happy. It makes my heart happy. Accepting the cup, Annette musters through the bitterness as she takes her initial sip. That sugar couldn't cut the potency no matter how much she doles into the cup. Go on, dear, have your pastry before it gets cold. Trust, has Annette picking up the pastry. It's her growing affection for Peggy that urges her to take a deep bite. But I have a feeling that's all she'll take to be polite. Propping her fingertips to her mouth, she comments, That's superb. What flavor is it? Strawberry. Peggy sits but doesn't take a puff. She matches Annette's seated pose, her hands resting upon her knee. The bauble ring seems brighter today. Oh, I'm so glad. I was hoping for someone to taste test them before offering them to my other guests. Although I'm afraid I can't eat all of it, I'm meeting someone for lunch today. The news Annette wants to share, that has her glowing and bouncing in her seat with excitement. The look of a woman who's found new love to distract her and eventually evict every poor thought in her mind. I also thought about buying Wendy Lady Angelica of Prussia if she's still here. Peggy feigns excitement, gasping, cupping her hands over her mouth before extracting a hand to reach for hers. Actions that rejuvenate her body by decades. Splendid! Oh, you'll have to tell me everything, she gushes, and leave nothing out. Who is he? Does he treat you well? She pauses, a glint in her eye twinkles before she adds, You must bring him by the shop. The love-stricken young woman cannot help herself. His name is Jeremy Wright. He works in the next department over. I'm in admin, he's in billing. She giggles. Her head bounces from side to side as Annette adds in her attempt to jest. Oh, he does, Peggy. He absolutely does. He's a dream. Patting her hand, Peggy bobs her head. Then that's all that matters. Annette appears grateful, thankful for someone to confide in. And Peggy seems easy to talk to, quietly sitting there with an ear available to gab into. Quiet, however, doesn't always mean thoughtful. Peggy, can I ask you something? I don't want to bring up any painful memories, but a while back you mentioned you had a daughter? A comment neither of us expects. Caught off guard, Peggy erects herself in her seat, back plastered to the plush backing of the chair. Her knuckles whiten as her fingers press into her knee. Perhaps Annette doesn't catch it, but that bauble ring glows. Maybe it was a trick of the light, but I know better. What a question, Peggy laughs, finally pouring a cup of tea for herself. My daughter. Annette's lips part, fearful that she's uttered the wrong thing to bring up. I don't mean to pry. It was just a thought. Knowing how kind you've been to me, I can only imagine the daughter you raised. Pensive, the dark-haired shop owner pauses. My Marie is no longer with us. Took off, left me. Ungrateful thing, I'm afraid. The room grows silent. The silence that regrets such a question. But because I love her, I've named the doll shop after her favorite flower, hoping if she ever returned home, it wouldn't be difficult to find me. My Marie was beautiful, and that was her downfall. The face of Annette Sims falls. Peggy, I'm sorry. She let it get to her, Annette. Anxiousness has Peggy unable to sit still a moment longer. She rounds the table to where her friend remains. Delicately, she catches Annette's chin between her thumb and index finger. It changed her, made her bitter. Her voice darkens. Wild with jealousy. With beauty comes a great power. I told you that weeks ago. She tilts her chin to meet her gaze. You have massive potential, my dear. Don't let it get to you the way it did my Marie. My jaw clenches. She's deflecting. Annette's eyes widen. My guess would be from the discomfort in which Peggy clasps her chin and urges her closer, inspecting her pristine features. How her voice shifts, no longer the kind, encouraging woman she knows her to be. But I know you won't, Peggy smiles, leaning back against the table, her hands folded in her lap. Now another week's worth? I'm so glad it's helping you sleep. Almost as if the doll shop owner challenges her newest fixation. Only a sole bite remains of the puff pastry. Annette is all too quick to rise from the table, as smoothly as she can without appearing rude. Peggy waves her off, despite the other's back turned to her. You'll be back, she whispers. Part 5. My chest constricts with discomfort. In my hands is the answer to everything. To get away from Mother's newest husband, Edwin, who watches me undress when he thinks Mother isn't looking. My favorite maid, Marla, tips me off to his indulgences when he believes to be secretive. Perhaps he needs a reminder that he married Mother so he can watch her undress. To get away from Mother, who feels this regard to keep me at arm's length, to make sure I am on a long enough leash to offer me my freedoms, which are quick to retract when she believes I commit infractions against her. Because anything for me goes against her. I am not my own person. I am an extension of her. The version of her she could have been if I hadn't come along. I exist for her ROI for her mistakes. My knuckles tap against her door. The scent of peaches wafts through the open slots. Its potency only intensifies when she finally opens it. Her eyes dart to the torn open envelope in my hand. Is that from the agency? I am quick to shake my head, heartbeat thudding in my ears. Mother opens the door wider to invite me inside the guest room that she claims for her. A study that is encased with bookshelves, candlelight, taking a classic approach to how Poe and other prominent writers hone their craft. Reaching out her hand toward the dark wood lacquered table, I am reluctant to take a seat. I want to relay my news while I still have the nerve. It's from the university. They've granted me a full scholarship. She retorts, What, with a dormitory? Quick with the quips. She eyes me before motioning for the side table where steam spirals escape from the spout of a black kettle. The gift of Edwin's ring adorning her left hand glints in the candlelight. Several open books surround stray pieces of paper. Squinting, I try to make out what she's studying before she turns her attention back to me. Liquid pours into a teacup. The joining of fragrant curlicues intermingles with the heavy aroma in the air. Hard to tell them apart. They are dizzying all the same. Here, try this. There are few times I am helpful to Mother as her extension. Whatever will suit me will suit her. Raising the cup to my lips, my head recoils from the tea's impossible bitterness. Oh, don't make that face. It's ugly. Just drink it. Mother exhales. Darling, we've talked about this. You're not smart enough for college. Ouch. Do you remember how much you struggled in high school? Go to the agency, see Marcus. It'll be better. Her tone tells me the matter is settled. I can't cry, despite how I'm devastated by her words. My tears only get a further rise out of her. I nearly drop the teacup when she cradles my face in her palms. I say this because I don't want to hear that I was right down the road. We stick with what we know, dear. But I want to go. I want to try. Mother's eyes narrow as she inspects me. And sometimes what we want isn't always what's best. I know what's best. Not for me. For her. I have to get out. Part 6. On Tuesday, the sun doesn't rise over Wisteria Place. The delicate, ornate crystal lamps illuminate the shop against the gloomy gray clouds that cling to the morning. Peggy sits at the table with the tea steeping in her teapot. She's comfortable in the darkness, as it hides how definite her wrinkles appear today. A book is open. The purple pouch sitting just beside it, waiting for a certain someone to come and collect it. Peggy is confident in Annette's return, despite her upset departure. You miss her, don't you? Peggy asks as she looks up at my shelf. Don't worry. I don't believe it'll be much longer now. Though I sit stoic, expressionless, it's as if Peggy can read my thoughts through the reaction she pretends that I have. Marilyn, this is what happens when... The door's bell chimes aggressively. Worry mars the perfection of Annette's face, with the bags beneath her eyes that Peggy rises from the table to tend to. Heels thud into the carpet as the shop owner approaches. Annette, you're early. I don't normally see you until Thursday. It's Tuesday. Peggy's eyes narrow as she further inspects her. Annette's eyes are glassy. Beads of threatening tears wetly cling to her thick lashes. They fan out without flaw, not a strand out of place. Annette's feminine hands slip over Peggy's. What's wrong? The young woman is donning a peach-colored dress cinched at her waist. The A-line skirt flows beautifully with her movements. I got into a fight with Jeremy on Monday. I couldn't sleep. She looks away to cough into her hand. I think I'm making myself sick. Peggy blandly responds, Worry will do that. Come, sit. I'll fix you tea. Should do something for that cough. Annette shakes her head. Peggy, I'd just like this week's pouch and I'll go. I think I want to lie down at home. Nonsense. You came here for help and I'll help you. Gingerly, Peggy places the back of her hand to the other's forehead. You're warm. I can't let you leave like this. I insist you stay. Hands press the young woman into the white chair, offering a squeeze of comfort. Annette's right leg jiggles. Hands press the young woman into the white chair, offering a squeeze of comfort. Annette's right leg jiggles. Elbows perched upon the table, her hands steeped together. Do you think he'll leave? I don't know what I'll do if he leaves. Her eyes widen as she forces out the next statement. I've never looked better. Why would he leave, right? Finally, she looks up. Peggy? Peggy quirks a brow, pouring tea into the teacup. She doles sugar into it next and stirs it before setting it in front of Annette. Are you listening to yourself right now? I warned you to not get wrapped up in this, Marilyn. By the minute, her face grows paler. Her bottom lip quivers and then parts as she catches what Peggy says. Marilyn? Her eyes find me. I'm not Marilyn. I warned you. Again and again, drink your tea. However, Annette returns to her chief concern. It doesn't take long for the young woman to forget the mistake in favor of her intrusive thoughts. If I don't keep this up, she pauses to take a sip of her tea, I'll lose everything. The teacup in her hand trembles and nearly spills. She clasps her hands over her mouth when she successfully manages to set it down. What's happening? You're such a doll, Peggy says as she returns, cupping Annette's chin in her fingers, the latter's hands falling onto the table. You always were a lovely little doll. You didn't need any of this. Annette's wide eyes take on hues of shock, confusion, and then anger. Biting her thoughts back is no longer an option. She's reaching her boiling point. How would you know? Look at you. You've always been beautiful, never overlooked. Peggy is beyond Annette's reach now. Your insecurity kept this up, Annette. No matter what, it would never be enough for you. There would always be that need for more, to be more beautiful, to be thinner, to have nicer clothes, perfect hair. Peggy jerks her hand away, leaving Annette to sway. Greedy. That's what you are. Greedy. It's the hiss that has Annette removing herself from the table, holding on to it as her sway threatens to tip her over. This world is cruel to the ugly, Annette weakly defends. Unnecessarily cruel to what doesn't live up to its standard. Peggy's chest heaves. You clung to that silly wishing powder like a damn teddy bear. Look at you, ridiculous, with those false eyelashes. Whispers form around me at the mention of the wishing powder. My side of the shelf hisses their disdain too. They too urged the young woman to make a run for it. I'm not wearing false eyelashes. You all come to me. Can you help me, Peggy? Peggy, make it better. Peggy, Peggy, Peggy. Peggy imitates those who came before Annette, teasingly mocking them in a high-pitched voice, her eyes scanning the circular shop. Annette takes woozy steps toward the door until she staggers and falls to her knees. She takes a moment to catch her breath. Unfazed, Peggy steps past her to tug the curtains closed. No one needs to see. Greed is addictive. Vanity is addictive. Peggy tugs the last of the curtains closed. I shouldn't be mad. All of you can't possibly understand what it truly means to lose everything you've worked so hard for. The whispers grow, encompassing the store in volume. If it grows any louder, it would engulf the shop. Above the hushes comes another sound, one that we silence ourselves for. A thumping, a pulse that vibrates throughout the expanse of the room. Annette scrambles, crawling through the doll shop, heading in the opposite direction of the one Peggy is in. Her knees sink into the dark pink velvet carpet. Get up. She has to get up. Her nails sink into the white tablecloth as she attempts to use that as leverage, but her body gives out. Annette's form drops and brings the tablecloth down with her. White encompasses her as the linen drapes over her body. A crash resounds as the pulse heightens. While we may no longer see her, we can hear. A heartbeat. Annette's heartbeat. Her spreading fever amplifies her internal pleas, making them palpable. It's violent like wildfire, and all I want is to cry for her. Next, the tea set crashes, covering Annette Sims in the brew. The book is the last to fall. It closes and applies all of its weight with the corner landing onto the small of her back. I cannot stand the sound of her heartbeat, or the horrific cries that come from everywhere but its owner. I've heard these screams before. The shop encases all of the woman's pain and anguish as Annette Sims writhes. Intermingled with all of this is Peggy's laughter, a haunting, malicious cackle. It's astonishing how this goes unheard by outsiders. The insecure ones always make for the prettiest of dolls. With her last bit of strength, Annette rolls onto her side. Succumbing to the fever that rises with each passing moment, the doll shop absorbs it. Peggy crouches down to lift the heavy brown leather-bound book. That red bauble ring glows brilliantly. The older woman scolds herself, closes the book, and tucks it against her chest. The heat has her gray curls spiraling out from her ponytail. "You do all the work for me, you know? All your efforts, your experiments. Now you won't have to worry. You'll forever be a permanent beauty, my dear." The heartbeat simmers, and the ring fades. "Not like me. I have to work hard to maintain mine. You want to talk to me about how cruel the world is?" Shaking her head, Peggy Lovett rises from her crouch. The fever breaks, lowering the temperature in the doll shop once more. "Try losing everything to the person you gave life to, committing yourself entirely to regaining it, going to whatever extreme you have to get it." With the last of the thudding pulsations, Peggy looms over the covered form of Annette Sims, and the ring glows once more. A coughing fit overtakes me. I pack only the necessities in a duffel bag, some books, clothes, everything else can remain behind. I'll get my textbooks once I get there, and maybe, just maybe, my cough will end when I leave this house. I want to chalk it up to being primed and overworked for what Mother believes is me getting ready for Marcus and the agency. Something she decides on her own to set up, despite the number of times I've told her no. The next set of coughs has Marla collecting me in her arms before I can keel over. Strands of hair fall apart from her kept bun. "Miss, maybe you should lie down." "Marla, I have to—" A stern voice cuts us off. "Marla, leave us." The pair of us freeze. Mother stands in the doorway with a steaming cup of tea in her hand. She's been obsessive with what she claims to be a beautifying weight loss brew. Ever since she made her grand decision for me to attend her modeling agency, I am 10 pounds lighter, but I have gained what feels like its equivalent in makeup. My lashes, thick and voluminous, are new. Dark curls fall past my breasts, where the ends tickle the last of my ribcage. Extensions from when Mother cut my hair in a rage, leaving my hair uneven and lopped in a bob that in no way complements the teasing rage that has overcome the 80s. Though it terrifies me how in a matter of days my hair has grown and popping the extensions out, I have no explanation for it. Mother's answer was always more tea. She enters the room, repeating her wish for Marla to leave. Setting the cup down, she nestles my jawline in her palms and drags her thumb across the glassy plane of the apples of my cheeks, as the skin is tender beneath. As if there are layers that no amount of cold compresses will alleviate, fire drags in its wake, and tears threaten to bubble in the corner of my eyes from the pain. Void of empathy in her eyes, she waits for Marla to close the door behind her. I know my maid's hesitation. She is the only one I can confide in. Mother's hand drops from my face to my wrist, encircling the dainty joint. She regards it, moments before her grip tightens around it. A cry wells up, suppressed by coughs. I'm forced to my knees. Her admiration narrows in her gaze as the force of her grasp tosses me onto the floor. My body feels brittle, ready to shatter with the wrong move or touch. "You think I'm stupid. Think you're going to just leave. Oh, Mari, sweet, sweet Mari. I'm always a step ahead." How, I'll never know. All I can do is stare up at her from the floor. "You can't keep me here forever." "Oh, that's what you think, Marie?" "I have to, because if I don't, you'll go behind my back and do it, and I can't have that level of disrespect." I blurt out, "You hate me, so why not just let me go?" She shakes her head and reaches for the teacup. "This isn't about love or hate, Marie. This is about making you understand how ungrateful you've been. I gave up everything for you, and this is what you do? You try to sneak away behind my back?" Her toxic tongue drips venom on me. An echoing gasp plumes with the tossing of the hot tea over me while I'm down. The burn, like acid, eats away at me. I curl into myself, praying it passes quickly. The room spins, and I hear Mother's cries of betrayal. I'm selfish. My lack of gratitude for everything she's ever done for me reverberates. I want to scream. According to her, I don't understand that I'll never leave. My heartbeat is in my ears, intermingled with my strangled cries. My fingernails bite into my hair. Desperately, I try to suppress the cavalcade of horrendous sounds. Heartbeat, cries, and gasps as the air in the room thins. And then there was the heat. The flames lick me from toe to head. When will it end? I don't want to suffer like this. I just want it to stop. I want to leave. Above me is the tearing of what I can only imagine being my acceptance letter, sprinkling the paper to melt into the liquid. The burning climbs within my body until I am no more. I am seated on a shelf in a woman's bedroom. The owner of the bedroom curls her arms around who appears to be her husband before he promptly pushes her away. "Peggy, Christ, get off me! Aren't you the least bit concerned that your daughter's missing? It's been weeks now." Distressed, she chases after him. After a blip of time passes, a woman with a bun and in a maid's uniform enters the room. She constantly shifts her head over her shoulder. The maid hesitates before tucking me into her peacoat. Another maid stands guard by the door. I'm confused. How can I be small enough to hide? I can hear footsteps before exiting the house. "I hope you remember none of this," she whispers. "I can't undo it, but I'll take you away from here no matter the cost." Her voice is comforting. "You'll stay with my former employer. She adores porcelain dolls. I'm so sorry, Marilyn. You deserved so much better." Part 8. Wisteria Place is breathtaking in the fall. The trees change color. Pumpkins on doorsteps, children preparing to trick-or-treat and shop for costumes. The excitement is infectious. Peggy Lovett laughs as she crouches down to a little girl's level. "Who do you think you'll be this year?" The little girl tugs her new best friend to her chest. The doll's red curls adorn a black witch's hat. The sole string adopts a spider. Dressed in a matching witch's dress, silver embroidered spider webs shimmer in the light. This little girl, whose strawberry blonde hair is just shades lighter than her doll's, separates the toy at a comfortable width apart. She smiles, conferring with the doll. "I think a witch this year." Peggy's hands clap together. "Splendid," she coos. "You'll make for the cutest witch." The little girl is a flurry of giggles, offering Peggy a hug before her patent leather shoes carry her across the carpet that she's so small she can almost sink into. They'd have to send a search party for her. Her witchy friend is not like me. She has no story, no thoughts, at least not one that Peggy doesn't assign to her. "Whitney, don't stray too far, honey," her mother calls, but our side of the store enamors Whitney. The little girl resembles a cupcake in her blue and white dress. Her head raises to find me. "Peggy, I have to say, I love whatever you're doing. You've taken at least 10 years off your face," Whitney's mother beams. "You'll have to give me your doctor, please. Ever since Whitney, I've never been the same." Peggy collects the other woman's arm in hers as they walk in tandem to where Whitney stands. It's true. 10 years vanish from Peggy's face. Skin taut, resembling work on a woman who has yet to admit her mortality. That just makes her relatable among the mothers and is swift to gain their trust. Jet black hair sweeps over her shoulder, with not a trace of gray. The shop's owner squeezes her guest to her, the red bauble ring shining brilliantly. "Oh no, Dr. Lily. It's a new skincare routine I recently came into. I'm calling it Essence of..." Lily leans back and interjects. "You don't say. You'll have to share your secrets." Patting her hand, Peggy Lovett sighs contentedly. The pair of women laugh and stand behind little Whitney. "Someday." I can't believe how realistic these dolls are. Whitney is absolutely enamored with them. Peggy adjusts the purple dress I wear, her own creation with white wisteria and green leaves. The doll beside me is every bit a Southern belle in her peach gown. The ruffles, frills, and white trim stand out. mousy brown hair pinned back in a mass of curls that neatly sit beneath her sun hat. Lily's eyes stop at the Southern Belle. Now, looking at this one, that reminds me. Have you heard of the missing girl? It's a craft, I'll tell you that. Peggy's laughter simmers, eyes following her customer. Yes, I heard. It's a pity, really. Ran off with her new boyfriend. My mother was more creative than she let on.